ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। I offer my Sashtanga Pranam at the lotus feet of Sri Ramakrishna, Mother Sharda Devi and Swami Vivekananda. Namaskar to all of you. We all know there is a thing called sense of responsibility. We can understand better about this sense of responsibility by this incident. And what is that? A man goes to a library and asks for a book on how to commit suicide. The librarian looks at him and says, "Hello, who will return the book?" Sense of responsibility. Now, how to make people more responsible in their work? There was one manager of the company who used to do that. Now, one of the other managers of another company is asking this manager, how do you motivate your employees to be so punctual? To which this manager is replying, it's very simple. See, we can, I think, apply this method in our ashram also to bring our devotees before time to the satsang. It's very special method. You can apply this here also. The officials can take note of it. How do you motivate your employees to be so punctual? To which the manager of this company replied, it's simple. I have 30 employees and I have 29 parking spaces and I have put the board, one is paid parking. So nobody will like to come late. Everybody wants to come first because they don't want to pay the parking charges. Now, sense of responsibility has to be learnt by studying our scriptures and following the ideals of many great people who have led such a wonderful life. We shall take the help of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda tells, a devotee, a bhakta, should be like Mother Sita before Ramachandra. The devotee might be thrown into all kinds of difficulties. Sita did not mind her sufferings. She centered herself in Ramachandra alone. Likewise, all of us who call ourselves as devotees, though we may be finding ourselves in different kind of difficult situations, Swami Vivekananda tells the devotee should be like this Mother Sita before Rama. The devotee might be thrown into all kind of difficulties. Sita did not mind her sufferings. She centered herself in Rama and Rama alone. Likewise, we have to center our life on the Lord and Lord alone. Swami Vivekananda tells, Rama and Sita are ideals of Indian nation. All children, especially girls, worship Mother Sita. The height of a woman's ambition is to be like Sita. The pure, the devoted, the all-suffering. When you study these characters, you can at once find out how different is the ideal in India from that of the West. Because when you call Mother Sita as all suffering, then you might get a doubt because you have been brought up in the Western standards. Why should we suffer? Why should we be all suffering? Now, Swami Vivekananda gives one example. And what is that? He gives the example of a cannon. Suppose the cannon is fired. If there is no obstruction, it goes on and its energy is fizzled down and that cannonball might fall somewhere. But if there is a wall which resists it, then there is heat generated, energy generated. Like that, if in our life we have the difficulties and if we forbear the difficulties, if we withstand forbearance, sahanam, then we develop energy within. Suppose we do not control our passions and energies, angers, and other things when we get into difficulty, allow it to go as it is, then you don't store energy. So here all suffering means forbearance, withstanding all the pains, so that creates or generates energy within you, makes you strong. Now, Vivekananda is comparing between the Western standard and the Indian standard. You can at once find out how different is the ideal in India from that of the West. For the race, Sita stands as the ideal of suffering. The West says, do show your power by doing. India says, show your power by withstanding or suffering. The West has solved the problems of how much a man can have. That is, you call present day consumerism. How much you can use of this nature and the world. But what is the ideal of East or India? India has solved the problem of how little a man can have. Sita, to say that she was pure is a blasphemy, says Vivekananda. She was purity itself embodied. The most beautiful character that ever lived on earth. Again, Vivekananda tells, Sita was chastity itself. She would never touch the body of another man except that of her husband, Sri Ramachandra. Pure, she is chastity itself, says Rama. Now, how to understand this Ramayana or the life of Sita from the standpoint of Vedanta or our Advaita? Some sages believe there was an Advaitic message or Vedantic message in the life of Mother Sita, in the life of Rama. If Valmiki, an ascetic devoted to tapas, austerity, and Swadhyaya, study of the Vedas, created this epic Ramayana to help mankind understand human characteristics. He must have used this Vedic philosophy as the basis. Indian epics like Ramayana is full of symbolism. One view is that Mother Sita, portrayed as an ideal woman, reflects how we living beings, Jiva, should pursue its spiritual path to realize the supreme truth, the Godhead. Lord Ramachandra means the one who revels in all beings and things. Revels means one who resides in the heart of every living beings. the Atman, the Paramatman, the self of all. Now Ramachandra is wedded to Sita. Who is Sita here? The mind. Rama is born in the bosom where there is self-control and no conflict. That's why Ayodhya. What is Ayodhya? Yodha, no soldier, no enemy can attack it. The name itself reflects. Where is Rama born? In Ayodhya, where there is self-control and no conflict. When Rama, the self, is wedded to Sita, the mind, you can take this to your own life, your body, your mind, and Rama to be our self, the Atman, the Paramatman. When Rama, the self, is wedded to Sita, the mind, there is expression of life and its activity. We do not know from where mind appears. So, we do not know how Sita was born from the bosom of the earth. She was found in the earth while Janaka was plowing. So, we do not know how our mind, the source of mind, our mind arises. So, Mother Sita also, you can see the birth of Sita also like that, similar to that. From Mother Earth, Sita came. And into Mother Earth, she disappeared. From where the mind came and where it disappears, where do our mind disappears? It disappears in Samadhi. So the mind dissolves in Samadhi. Nobody can say. As long as Sita, the mind remains in perfect attunement with Ramachandra, the Atman, the Paramatman, the God, the self, the higher nature. So if our mind is attuned with the higher nature, there is only joy and happiness, whether in Ayodhya or in the forest, in the exile. The moment Sita, our mind, desires the golden deer, the mind identifying with the lower nature, desire, becomes extrovert and desires sense objects, the fall of the individual starts. So, the suffering of Mother Sita started then. Sita forgets the might of Ramachandra and forces Lakshmana, who is Lakshmana representing tapas, to go to Ramachandra's help. Sita becomes an easy victim of Dashamukha Ravana, 10-headed Ravana. What is this 10-headed Ravana in our mind? The 10 sense organs of ours, and is carried away to Lanka, the material world. What is Lanka, the golden city? It is the material world, material enjoyment, away from the land of dharma, righteousness and spirituality, that is from the Paramatman to the material world. Sita is now very unhappy there, regrets her actions and prays with single-pointed devotion to be saved. Rama, the self, destroys Vali. Who is Vali? He represents lust and organizes Vanaras, monkeys. What are monkeys? Swami Vivekananda compares our thoughts to monkeys, all our thoughts. So, Rama, the self, destroys Vali, the lust, organizes Vanaras, monkeys, thoughts, to cross the ocean and reach Lanka. The ocean to be breached is the delusory attachment and fascination in our deluded mind. The forces, what are the forces? Rakshasas, demons, that fight against Ramachandra, our self, are the negative tendencies, kama, krodha, mada, matsarya, lobha, greed, desire and all those things. That forces, demons that fight against our self, Ramachandra, higher self, are the negative tendencies. So when Sita, our mind, is turned towards Rama, the self, continuously and constantly, such a mind is no mind at all. Rama, the man of perfection, allows the mind to remain in him but is not affected by it. Finally, when the inner personality is purified and rehabilitated, and the mind dissolves in samadhi, that is Mother Sita going back to earth from where it came from. We then become the self itself, Ramachandra itself. So Mother Sita, the mind disappears to become one with the self. Rama, thereafter the man of realization, rules over the kingdom of life. Sita, the mind, was banished, but having lived with her for some time, something must emerge. It did in the form of Lava and Kusha. The children, perfected masters of wisdom, emerge in the form of books singing the glory of Ramachandra, that is Ramayana. So that is the Vedantic message which we can get from that wonderful epic Ramayana. Now, let us see there is another aspect of Mother Sita. We have seen the all-suffering aspect. As I have told you many times, Bhavabhuti, a great Sanskrit poet, has explained about human nature as not that which is very soft, all-enduring and namby-pamby, but he explains the perfect character as Mruduni Kusumadapi. Whenever you are looking after the good people, the righteous, your children, your near and dear ones, you should be softer than the flower. Mruduni Kusumadapi. But when you have to deal with the negative character, deal with the unrighteous, deal with the bad forces, the internal forces like desire and other things, Vajradapi Kathorani. You should be stronger than the thunderbolt. So that is a perfect character. You can see that wonderful blend of character in Mother Sita. Vajradapi Kathorani, even the Divine Mother you can see. Durga, when the demons like Shumbha, Nishubha, Mahishasura come to destroy them, she becomes stronger than the diamond or the Vajra, the thunderbolt. But to protect the devotees and the God and the rishis and the good people, the righteous, she becomes softer than the flower. That is the perfect character, neither being too harsh, all the time harsh and too rough, but also we should not be too soft and useless, goody-goody, but a blend of character. Mother Sita represents this wonderful character. Sita, the female character portrayed in Ramayana, is not just a character who represents female gender in an epic, but she is considered as an emblem of female and spousal virtues, which is still believed in India. Sita is known for her extraordinary beauty and desirable feminine nature, whereas the same Sita is portrayed in different light as a fearless warrior of Mithila in Amish Tripathi's Sita, the warrior of Mithila. So we all know after the marriage of Sita, how she was. But there is another life, another side of Mother Sita when she was growing up in Mithila in the house of Janaka. We all don't go to study that at all. She was a great warrior. She was born in the Kshatriya family. Sita, according to Indian minds, was a traditional woman who lived for her husband Rama, who is believed to be the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. An exemplary woman role for every Indian woman. Sita is also believed to be an avatar of Sri Lakshmi, the Hindu goddess who symbolizes prosperity, good character, and fortune, success, happiness. The portrayal of Mother Sita in Kamba Ramayana represents her as an esteemed woman and a paragon of spousal and feminine virtues for all women. Now, let us see that forbearance, that strong nature, the internal nature of Mother Sita. Sita's sacrifices and actions were most often portrayed in her personal capacity rather than an ideal queen or a powerful governance figure. Her character reaches the peak and receives the height of admiration when she renounces her queenhood and gets herself ready for the exile from Ayodhya with her husband Rama. She wants to perform her spousal duties when her husband is in an unpleasant condition, while the exile was meant only for Ramachandra. Now, when Sita was abducted while she stepped out of Lakshmana Rekha, the line drawn by Lakshmana, which is the line drawn by Lakshmana around the abode in which he lives with his brother Ramachandra, Rama's wife Sita at Panchavati in the forest of Dandakaranya to give alms to Ravana was disguised like an ascetic, though he was a king. Alms giving to ascetic was desirable and necessitated one in those times, also considered as more of a duty to be performed rather than an optional charitable act. But Sita overstepped the limit marked by Lakshmana for her safety in their absence, not to disregard Lakshmana but to perform her duty as a woman. So we should know that not only Ramachandra was conscious about performing the righteous duty, Mother Sita was also bent upon performing her duty. She is not only now, she is not a queen now, she is in the forest. She doesn't have the powers and luxuries. In spite of that, she didn't want to stop performing her duty, giving alms to the ascetic. Sita's role forward with this behavior, Sita's virtues meant to not hurt anyone in any way, but when she crosses the safety line, she literally disobeys the instruction given by Lakshmana. Ravana, the king of Lanka, who is a Kshatriya, but came disguised as ascetic with an evil intention of kidnapping her to his place. Through analyzing the nature of Mother Sita's character, one can say she must have given the alms the same if she already knew that person asking for alms was not a ascetic, but it was the demon. Why? This shows her willpower in fulfilling her duties in whatever condition she might be in. It is mentioned in Ramayana that the reason for Ravana's intention to abduct Sita in an undesirable and cunning way was not just to take revenge over Rama, but Sita's exceptional beauty is the main cause which attracted Ravana to commit this shoddy crime. So, her physical experience, apart from her virtues, also highlighted in this context. Also, the act of Mother Sita's refusal to come back with Hanuman. Hanuman could kill Ravana, destroy Lanka, and he could have carried Mother Sita back. But she wanted to give the credit to her husband Ramachandra. See, she refused to come back with Hanuman to her husband, which explains her mind that she did not want to escape like an ordinary kidnapped woman, longing to run away when she gets a chance. This shows how much a strong mind she possesses and her self-dignity too. After Sita's redeemed from Ravana's custody, she had to endure a chastity test in which she had to walk through the fire in order to prove her purity to the world. She withstood this stage and she was brought back to Ayodhya kingdom. Throughout Kamba Ramayana, Sita is portrayed as an extraordinarily beautiful woman and a woman with all the possible virtues on earth prescribed for a female form. from her childhood and as a woman, as a wife. All her key aspects are shown in a favorable light, not as a head of a state, but as an ideal woman. In all the Ramayanas, you can see that. Now, here in this book, Sita is portrayed as a strapping warrior of Mithila by Amish Tripathi in his famous work, Sita, Warrior of Mithila. The story is entirely centered on the character of Mother Sita, whereas other Ramayana is centered on many aspects and virtues of Mother Sita. The other character, which also includes Sita, as one among the others. The story completely revolves around different phases of Sita's life, from infancy to her endeavor. You know, in our Gurukula, in olden days, universities, there would be a position as you go on learning, just like our primary, then it is high school, then degree, master degree. There would be the position of Vishnu. It was called, the position was called Vishnu. Her endeavor as the seventh Vishnu, she rose up to that higher standard of education. The plot opens with a trip of Janaka. You know, Janaka Maharaja, the king of Mithila Nagara, used to go to plow. He would carry the plow. He used to be the first farmer. He would be a model, though he was a king. While plowing in an unknown place, he found Mother Sita as a baby. His wife, Janaka's wife, Sunayana, both of them, they found this child in the forest being protected by a vulture from the attack of a group of fox. They understood by seeing her condition that she was abandoned here for some days in the forest, and wonder that she was residing, resisting the dangers around her and even the starvation while she was a baby. That she was resisting this, which proves that she is more than an extraordinary human soul. They rescue her and adopt the child and name her Sita, for she was found in a furrow. Sita means furrow. Growing up, Sita was sent to the ashram of Rishi Shvetaketu. As I told you, the Gurukula, that were the universities. Women were given very high education. They were great scholars, women scholars. So this is a proof. So she went to the Gurukula of the Rishi Shvetaketu. Who is this Shvetaketu? In the Upanishad, you find that one of the famous, the Tattvam Asi Shvetaketu, the Mahavakya given by his father to Shvetaketu. You are that Shvetaketu. So that Rishi Shvetaketu, to his Gurukula she went and studied. There she learnt about not only other forms of education, there were different forms of education, but important was also martial arts, and gained knowledge on different subjects. Impressed by Sita's skills and knowledge, Rishi Shvetaketu elects her as the seventh Vishnu, that is the gradation given in education in the Gurukula. Sunayana, the mother of Sita, the queen of Mithila, is another strong woman in this work. Wherever you find Mother Sita mentioning in the Ramayana about her strong willpower and her character, she attributes that to her mother Sunayana. She was, that is Sunayana. Here, Su means good, Nayana means eyes. That is the meaning of Sunayana. So, mother of Sita, Sunayana, was an important source of Sita's inspiration, strength, and courage. Mother Sunayana encourages Sita whenever Sita felt weak at heart, as it can be seen in the below quote. What is Mother Sunayana telling Sita when she was in her weak mind? She tells, my dear daughter Sita, running away is never the solution. Confront your problems, manage them. That is the way of the warriors, Kshatriyas. Sunayana lifted Sita's chin and looked into her eyes. and you are a warrior, Kshatriya, don't ever forget that. Always fight all the difficulties that come to you in your life. Now, Sita also played a vital role in taking care of her younger sister, Urmila, who became the wife of Lakshmana. Why? Because Janaka, her father, was being more engrossed in spiritual work. He was a Videha, always without body consciousness, thinking of Paramatman. He was a realized soul, Brahmagnani. So Sita was made the prime minister of Mithila, that kingdom. She proved herself as an able administrator and made many reforms in the kingdom with the help of her childhood friend Samichi, who served as the chief of the police force. After Mithila's financial conditions stabilized, Sita visited the Malaya Putra capital city of Agastya Kutam to continue training in education for becoming the next Vishnu. Then we see that Sita chooses Ramachandra. Now here we thought that it was all the male people choosing the female, but in those days it was the female, the queen, who chose the male. That was called Swayamvara. Vara means the male person who is to be married. So it was the queen or the woman who is to choose them. So it was called Swayamvara. She chose, Sita Ma chose Rama, the prince of Ayodhya. So, and gets the intention of marrying him for some reasons, which include strengthening and protecting her kingdom. So now we can see the lines in Sita, warrior of Mithila, explains all about the magnificence of Sita's nature as a whole, as the below quotes, where Rama wanted to marry a woman in front of whom he would be compelled to bow his head in admiration. Rama wanted to marry a woman in front of whom he would be compelled to bow his head in admiration. Now, you see, in the marriage, they exchange the garlands. They tell the husband has to bend his head low to receive the garland of the wife, who would become the would-be wife. Why is it? After that, he cannot raise his head in the house at all. So that will be the last time you raise your head. But here, Rama wanted to marry a woman in front of whom he would be compelled to bow his head in admiration. The above lines lucidly explains that how respectable and powerful woman Sita was. These all exhibits that Sita, known for her valiant and strong-hearted nature, as female heir of the kingdom of Janaka. So Sita is shown in a different light in this Amish Tripathi, Sita, the warrior of Mithila, as a female, not only with the feminine character, but also more stronger than the masculine power. So now that is very, very important. As I told you, the words of Bhavabhuti, that we should not only be good, forbearing all suffering and keeping quiet, goody-goody, but at the same time, whenever need arises, we should be stronger than the thunderbolt. That is also not the perfect character, where we should be too strong, too harsh, but we should also possess a soft heart like a mother. These two wonderful qualities were well blended in Mother Sita. You can see that here. The all-suffering and also the brave and commanding nature of Mother Sita, a well-combined force, the good forces you could see in Mother Sita. We often find very little or no temple for Mother Sita. Why? Because they are afraid to have a temple and go and worship Mother Sita. Why? You will get all sufferings like Mother Sita. That is the wrong notion. Some of the people, they don't keep Mahabharata in their houses. Why? Because there may be a war in the family. All blind belief and superstitions. They don't read Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because it was narrated on the battlefield. They cover it with a beautiful cloth and keep it and worship, but they never open it and read it. I've used the term as mentioned by one of the great vice presidents of our order. What is that? It's called, we worship Gita, we show arati and also burn agarbattis, keep flower, but we don't open that book and read it. So that term, insensitivity, what is that? You have so much of respect, but we are insensitive to the matter which is given within. So it is called reverential insensitivity. So that is our way with superstition. We don't have even one temple for Mother Sita. But I visited a place in Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh, North India, where Mother Sita's temple is there. That is the place where Mother Sita gave birth to Lava and Kusha. That is the ashrama of Valmiki. And that in that ashrama we can also find the place where Mother Sita entered into the earth. There is an opening there. All that can be found. I think 2 or 3 years back when I went to India, I visited this Valmiki ashrama. And last year when I went to India, I visited the place, the Mithila Nagara, the capital, where Mother Sita grew up as a child, where Janaka and Sunayana brought them up, where she grew up as a child, and when she also, where she married Ramachandra in Mithila. I also visited that place. And also the bow which was strung by Ramachandra and it broke and one piece fell. So I went to that place also where that piece of the bow fell. All that, if you go to Nepal, you can find it in Nepal, border of India. Indians can go without any passport there. Then in India, in Bihar, we can find another place that is called Sitamarhi, where that is the place where Janaka Maharaja, when he was plowing, where he found Mother Sita in the ground, in the earth. That place also, there is a temple. If you visit India, you can go to all these places and visit them. But important thing is, we should not have this reverential insensitivity, but we have to grasp that wonderful blend of character of Mother Sita. Wherever it is required, she would be stronger than the thunderbolt. Wherever it is required, she would be softer than the flower, and she would look after the righteous and the good people like her children. So that is the blend of character that we have to learn from the wonderful character of Mother Sita. So we will keep that in mind. We will meditate on that wonderful character of Mother Sita, read the life of Mother Sita, and imbibe these virtues in us, that so that we can go nearer to Ramachandra. As Ramakrishna in his sadhana has shown, only by becoming Radha you can get Krishna. Only by having devotion to Ramachandra like Mother Sita, you can realize Ramachandra, the Paramatman, within your heart. If you can make your mind like Sita, you can attain Ramachandra, who is already within your heart. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.